Yo, we step up in the scene, check your engine is clean. DPF guys got your ride smoking green. No block, no drag, just pure machine. Come show us your truck, we'll make it pristine. We just wanna know, can your diesel uphold? Bring something dirty, we'll turn it to gold. It's like this, we clean up your flow. Now your engine is gliding. It's time to hit the road.
There we go. There we go. Oh man, my goodness. Okay, now we've got some micage. Sorry about that. I was muted there for a second. Anyway, Sunday, January 12th, 2025 for the DPF Guys Q&A. Welcome everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Before we dive in, hit that subscribe button on our YouTube channel. And if you're not there already, if you need to find our channel on YouTube, go to youtube.com/DPF Guys so you don't miss any of our content. And if you're catching this someplace other than YouTube, head to youtube.com/DPF Guys to join the action. So I am James from DPF Guys, your go-to for diesel after-treatment services. So whether you're an owner-operator with one truck or you manage a small fleet, big fleet, giant fleet, or run a repair shop or a truck dealership or a network of repair shops or truck dealerships, we've got the expertise to keep you running, clean, and compliant. Hang on a second. I just heard a ding. I just want to make sure I'm not missing something. Hold on. Okay. I just want to make sure I wasn't missing something. Anyway, so we handle anything and everything with the diesel engine and after treatment. And this will go from your big over-the-road trucks to the light duty, medium duty pickup trucks to passenger vehicles, such as the BMWs with diesel engines, Range Rovers, etc., to RVs, off-road equipment, such as tractors, lawnmowers, skid steers, even stuff that doesn't move, like generators, wood chippers, rock crushers, etc. If it has a DPF, we've got you covered. Call or text us at 404-999-1361 for more info. That's 404-999-1361 for more info. Got any questions while you're watching here? We're going to go through 10 questions that have come in over the last few days. Please drop them into the comments. I will catch them and answer them. If you're watching this after the live is done, watching the recording, also feel free to drop your questions in the comments, and we will get to you and answer those at the next live. Hang on a second here, just checking to make sure we've got anything going on here. All right. Quick disclaimer, always consult your mechanic for any specific issues, especially anything that involves something that might derate your truck or safety, anything like that. Want to make sure you're taken care of. And, while we try our best to give you the most accurate and comprehensive information here, you want to double check with somebody who can actually, see you face to face. And pricing discussed here, if we do discuss pricing, is for reference only and not an official quote. If you do want an official quote, of course, feel free to give us a call at 404-999-1361. We can talk about it, and we will get you some numbers that are, are real, not for reference only. All right, let's get into it. Ready? Let's rock and roll. Question number 1. This is coming in from TikTok. Truck blows white smoke going up hills. Anybody have an idea what it can be? A 2015 Kenworth with a Cummins. So first and foremost, normally you should not see anything coming out of your stacks or tailpipe if you've got an after-treatment system, if you've got an intact functioning emission systems. However, could it be just water vapor? Because if your emission system is working like it is designed to, all that should be left after all is said and done, and your exhaust flows through your DOC, your DPF, and SCR, there should be nothing else but water and nitrogen. Now, again, because of the water, you might be seeing water vapor, but when you say white smoke, it's possible that you're seeing water vapor, but usually it's not that noticeable. I would want to know, are you losing any coolant? Because this could be a coolant leaking into your exhaust, either through the EGR cooler, which can happen. You get a pinhole in the EGR cooler and coolant starts to leak in the EGR cooler and then work its way down. Or maybe you have something going up in the engine, a crack in your head gasket, allowing coolant to get in the cylinder where it should not be. If you're losing coolant, there's really a symptom you want to look at and determine how it's leaking and how to handle that accordingly. EGR coolers can be tested for leaks using a pressure test once they're off the truck. Or you can open the EGR cooler by removing a sensor or the EGR valve assembly and using coolant test strips to see if there's any coolant in the exhaust soot that's built up in the EGR cooler. In fact, sometimes you can actually just look in the EGR cooler and see that it's wet inside, which should really tell you that you're getting a coolant leak there. Suffice to say, if you have a working emission system, you shouldn't see anything coming out of the stacks or tailpipe other than possibly a bit of water vapor in certain conditions where the amount of vapor is large enough and the air is cool enough to allow it to condense into a visible vapor, much like you can see your breath on a very cold day like we're having in Atlanta right now. If you do have an intact emission system on your truck and you see any black or gray smoke or white stream, your truck is trying to tell you that you need to get it checked out. There's almost certainly something wrong upstream, meaning up in the engine, ranging from an internal coolant leak, failing injectors, low engine compression, to possibly issues with the turbo or any number of things. So if you want to talk to us about it, give us a call or text at 404-999-1361. Again, that's 404-999-1361. If you want us to take a crack at helping solve your issue. All right, on to question number 2 from Roland Parking Lot 829 from TikTok. Oh man, so I did. If you haven't seen the videos I did on the Platinum DEF, definitely go find those and check them out. I get asked a lot about, what about this Platinum DEF? How does it work? So I did some videos and kind of determined that while there's nothing bad about Platinum DEF, it won't hurt your truck. It probably won't help your truck either. So save your money and don't get the Platinum DEF. But that's just me. So the question is it supposed to clean the tubes or something with the added soap? And he's asking about soap because I determined that the only difference between Platinum DEF and non-Platinum DEF, regular DEF, is that it appears they added a tiny amount of surfactant, which again is going to be like a soap, might only be a couple of drops, to the Platinum DEF, which causes it to nucleate or crystallize differently when it dries. Anyway, so the added surfactant in Platinum DEF is likely a tiny amount of some sort of soap. All soaps are surfactants. Not all surfactants are soaps, I think. But not enough to actually clean anything. If you were to add enough soap to DEF to actually turn it into a cleaner, it would not work as DEF and it would jack up your system. The surfactants in Platinum DEF are there to simply change the nucleation behavior of the DEF, and all that does is change how quickly crystals form when the water evaporates from DEF when it's poured out on some sort of surface. And keep in mind that DEF is mostly water, 67.5% water to be exact. And my rather crude experiments show that while whatever is added to Platinum DEF appears to affect how it crystallizes if it's simply spilled on a surface, it has absolutely no effect whatsoever on the DEF once it is sprayed into the emission system at typical emissions temperature. My recommendation has been and continues to be that you simply use the cheapest and freshest DEF that you can find, whether it be from Walmart, Tractor Supply, or any other source. And off-brand names of DEF are perfectly fine as long as they are fresh. So Platinum DEF won't actually clean anything other than an extra $6 out of your wallet when you buy it. allegedly. If you like Platinum Def, it certainly won't hurt anything, but it will not be as fresh as regular Def. Think about that. Because the regular Def sells faster than the Platinum Def. The Platinum Def is more expensive and will languish on the shelf a bit longer. In fact, I recently checked manufacturing dates on the Platinum versus regular Def, and the Platinum Def was at least 6 months older than the regular Def on the shelf. So no, Platinum Def won't clean your pipes if that's what you're into. So if you want to help your truck, make sure you keep up with your PMs and run a good additive like Clean Air Fleet. Shameless plug. And if you have any questions about DEF or anything else emissions related, you know what to do. Leave us a comment somewhere down below or give us a text or call at 404-999-1361. Give us a text or call, 404-999-1361. All right, onward to question number 3. Oh man, more Platinum Def questions. So this is another one from from TikTok. Will my L5P with my L5P, is it better to run the Platinum or regular? Another question about Platinum Def. Go figure. So first off, regarding your L5P, other than having an extremely long exhaust assembly measuring 12 to 14 feet in length, which can make servicing a real pain, the L5P Duramax is a great engine and generally a great truck. We don't see too many Duramax in the shop, but when we do, they are easy to clean. And no matter how dirty they are, they always come out clean, like new, and the truck ends up happy. So a quick answer to your question is simply no. Platinum Def will not make your L5P run better, but it won't make it run worse either. So if you want to spend an extra $6 on Def, by all means, be my guest, buy the Platinum Def. But I'd recommend a good fuel additive like Clean Air Fleet for your money, and just get the cheapest and freshest Def you can. So with your L5P, keep up with the maintenance. And if the DPF gets full of soot and ash over time, just give us a call at 404-999-1361. Call or text 404-999-1361 to get a hold of DPF guys. All right, we are rocking here. Question number 4. When I get to 5, I'll be halfway through. I'll check to see if anybody out there is actually watching me and if we have any questions coming in. But all right, we got question number 4. Oh, this is a good one. Can you explain the gasoline particulate filter and if it will come to the U.S.? So a gasoline particulate filter is a GPF, and it's very similar to a DPF, diesel particulate filter, but designed for gasoline engines, particularly those with gasoline direct injection systems or GDI systems. All sorts of acronyms. It makes me sound smart. Its purpose is to trap the small amount, but admittedly they're there, particulate matter or soot emitted during combustion, reducing harmful emissions before they exit the exhaust. GDI or gasoline direct injection engines, while they're indeed more fuel efficient, produce more soot, more particulate matter compared to traditional port injected gasoline engines. These soot particles can contribute to poor air quality, especially in areas that have a high concentration of vehicles, and are regulated under emission standards in many regions. This is going to be a requirement starting in 2025. Guess what? It's 2025. There are some vehicles in the U.S. with GPF on them. The GPF traps soot particles in a honeycomb-like ceramic structure, identical to a DPF, and periodically these particles are burned off during regeneration, a process similar to what happens in a DPF, but at lower temperatures. The system is generally passive, relying on regular driving conditions and exhaust heat to regenerate. GPFs are already mandatory in Europe due to a strict Euro 6D emission standard, which set stringent limits on particulate emissions from gasoline engines. In the U.S., while current EPA and CARB regulations are less strict on gasoline engines compared to Europe, they are making the GPFs a standard coming up in 2025 and definitely 2027. Some manufacturers, such as BMW, Mercedes-Benz, and Volkswagens, are already equipping US-bound models with GPFs to streamline global compliance. And there are, I forget what models of vehicles in the US are being made with the GPFs now. And that simply means that if they ship them overseas, they're already equipped for it. This is going to be, you're going to see this more and more often. And I believe by 2027, it'll be required on all gasoline vehicles. GPF adoption in the US has been slower because of gasoline particulate emissions are not yet as heavily regulated. The keyword is not yet. They will be. However, with increasing focus on air quality and vehicle emissions, GPFs will become a requirement in the future, especially for vehicles with GDI engines. Now, if you don't have the GDI engine, you may not have a GPF. So there may be some vehicles on the road without a GPF or a gasoline particulate filter. Excuse me. Now, I can kind of get off script here for a minute. From what I can understand, the gasoline engines with a particulate filter won't have a DOC because the gasoline engines run at a high enough temperature to regenerate without a DOC. And from what I can tell, though I don't know for sure, it sounds like these GPF filters are relatively inexpensive, meaning they are in the several $100 range versus the several $1,000 range that you would normally see with the diesel particulate filter. So I don't know if cleaning will make sense. It's something where if they do get plugged up, you probably just replace them. Time will tell. And of course, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Make sure you follow us everywhere because I will be talking more and more about this going forward. So if you have any questions about GPF on your vehicle, leave me a comment below, above, or wherever the doodly-doo is, or text or call us at 404-999-1361. Again, that is 404-999-1361. All right, what do we have? Question number 5. Okay, I did say that question number 5, I would check to see if we've got anything that came in from Only the Brentag have the right to make DEF. I'm not sure what that means. From Fred Sweaty Balls Jr. I'm sure this means something that I should know. It just is going over my head. I'll look that up and see if that's supposed to be funny. I'm assuming it is, and I do appreciate it in advance. Thank you for your comment. Much appreciated. All right, let's go on to number 5. Oh, this is about the additive. Safe for my 2016 Power Stroke with 95,000 miles. Now, let me just whip this out. Excuse me while I whip this out. Ugh. So this is 1 gallon of Clean Air Fleet. This is what we're talking about. I've touched on this before, but this is the additive for the diesel. Does a bunch of really good stuff. It actually does it. Does what it says it does. Ugh. And this gentleman was asking about his 2016 Power Stroke with 95,000 miles. Is it safe? Absolutely. In fact, people often ask, what if my vehicle is non-emissions? What if my vehicle is deleted? Does it still work? Yes, absolutely. In fact, you get all the benefits, except you don't have to worry about, if it's pre-emissions or a deleted vehicle, you don't have to worry so much about, the DPF because it's not there, but you get all the other benefits, a cleaner fuel burn, better lubricity, making sure your fuel pump and everything stays healthy. Keep that water out of your tank. That'll prevent injector damage. It will extend the life of your fuel system substantially if you keep water out of it. And also, if you can drop all the water out of your fuel, you will not have any issues with LJ or other biologics growing in your fuel, because they do need water to survive in the diesel fuel. Anyway, so the answer is it okay for my 2016 Power Stroke? And the answer is absolutely. Clean Air Fleet Additive is specifically formulated to use with ultra low sulfur diesel fuel, which is required for your 2016 Power Stroke, and it meets and exceeds OEM recommendations. You're going to get added lubricity, which I talked about. That's, that'll make your fuel system very happy, especially to protect the high pressure common rail fuel pumps and your injectors from premature wear. And it'll prevent buildup in the EGR system, DPF, seventh injector, and keeping your emission system functioning optimally. It will reduce or prevent the soot buildup. That's what we're talking about here. And it's going to work seamlessly with your SCR and your diesel exhaust fluid or DEF. In fact, because we can get that diesel fuel to burn more efficiently with Clean Air Fleet, your engine, believe it or not, produces less NOx, which means you will use less DEF, and that'll save you a little money on the DEF. And also, on the parts that deliver the DEF from the DEF pump to the DEF injector and everything else, those will have to work less hard, and which will make them last longer. Reduces soot and emissions, resulting in fewer regens and a longer life of your DPF and other emissions components. Now, as an aside, when I was researching Clean Air Fleet and talking to the owners of the company, Clint and Kurt Brunel, they were very suspicious. Like, why would a guy that cleans DPFs want to sell an additive to his customers that means that they will have to come back and see him less often? And because I can be a little bit lazy, sometimes I'm like, I could use a break. And, there are millions of trucks out there. And you know what? If I can get it so that you only have to come see me every 500,000 miles versus every 300,000 miles, that's fantastic. That gives me more room to help other people. So I'm totally cool with that. So why is it recommended for your truck, or basically anybody's truck? You're going to get better combustion by optimizing the air-fuel ratio, leading to better fuel economy. Not always. Keep in mind, the fuel economy is really kind of a sneaky thing, and it can vary so much based upon environment and how you drive the truck and all that stuff. But yes, you can normally see a increase in fuel economy. Sometimes it's very slight, sometimes it's noticeable, sometimes not. But it's a nice bonus when you do get that boost in fuel economy, which usually happens. It's going to keep the soot and smoke levels low, which is going to increase the time between DPF cleanings. Also will keep a lot of soot out of your EGR cooler and all the sensors and everything else. That can really save you a lot in maintenance. And it'll save maintenance by minimizing the chance of injector clogging and DPF failure. You're going to be bumping the cetane level of your fuel up to where the engine wants it to be. That's going to improve ignition for a smoother and more efficient engine operation. And, ideally lower cylinder temperatures, which can reduce NOx emissions and DEF consumption, which I talked about a minute ago. Demulsifies water, which means if you emulsify something, that means it blends it together. Kind of like when you make mayonnaise and you're emulsifying the oil with the egg to make mayonnaise. I do love mayonnaise. This demulsifies. It means that there's water that's kind of mixed in with your fuel. It hits this Clean Air Fleet, boom, drops out of it. So when your truck sucks up diesel fuel, it's only getting diesel fuel. It's not getting the water with it. And so it allows the water to separate and be removed, be picked up by your fuel oil separator, your fuel water separator, your DAVCO. And it will protect the engine from potential damage due to the water. Engines don't like water. So we want to get that all out of there. And so want to see what the Clean Air Fleet can do for your Power Stroke? Guess what? If you're a first-time buyer, I'm going to give you 10% off on your first case of 4 bottles. That is 4 gallons. That will treat up to 1,280 gallons of diesel fuel. And give it a try. I think you will come back for more. So leave a comment if you want to learn even more about Clean Air Fleet, or text or call us at 404-999-1361. Text or call 404-999-1361. All right, let's check, see if anybody else left any love letters for us. Nothing else there. That's fine. Let's go back to, what are we at? Question 6. Okay, this is a good one. This was from TikTok, and Does Pittsburgh Power really work to eliminate soot? And again, that would be max mileage by Pittsburgh Power. There are a lot of people out there that use Pittsburgh Power, and they swear by it. And to answer your question, yes, Pittsburgh Power can really work to reduce, but not eliminate, soot. There'll always be some soot. Again, just for the sake of being honest and accurate, you can't make all the soot go away. But if you can get the fuel to burn more efficiently, you can reduce it substantially. So there'll always be some soot produced at some point while diesel burns. But Pittsburgh Power and similar fuel catalysts, additives, will definitely cause your fuel to burn more efficiently and completely reducing overall soot output for the engine. So Pittsburgh Power and other catalysts contain chemical compounds that promote a more complete combustion of your diesel fuel. A more thorough burn means less unburned carbon, soot, is produced, resulting in cleaner exhaust. Now, just to clarify, your diesel soot is not pure carbon. It's actually a little bit of carbon, but it has unburned diesel fuel, has a lot of crap in it. So you want to keep that stuff out of the atmosphere, which is what your DPF does. So Pittsburgh Power and other similar additives can optimize the fuel-air mixture in the cylinders for efficient combustion. The optimization reduces the amount of partially burned fuel, which is a primary source of soot. And if you can get that fuel to burn completely, not only does it produce less soot, you have more fuel doing its job, going boom, and then pushing your truck forward, which means that sometimes you will actually get a bump in fuel economy as well. You're paying for the diesel. You want to make sure it's working for you 100%. Producing less soot means less soot buildup in the DPF, so you'll experience fewer regens normally and less soot downstream parts like the EGR cooler, EGR valve, turbo, etc. However, keep in mind, no matter what anyone tells you, no additive can reduce or eliminate what's already in the DPF. And so no matter what anybody tells you, the only way to clean out the particulate matter that is accumulated in the DPF is to either clean or replace the DPF. Let me say that again. No matter what anybody tells you, the only way to get the crap out of the DPF, now the soot you can burn out during a regen, but what's left behind is the ash. That the only way to get that out is to clean the DPF or replace it. There's no other way. No amount of chemicals, soaps, solvents, additives, or hydrogen you introduce into your system will clean out your DPF no matter what anybody tells you. In fact, many of these so-called DPF cleaners, kind of these chemical-based DPF cleaners that you dump into the system somehow, you pop out a sensor and dump it in. They may seem to work. They may seem to work in the very short term, but will end up making things far worse in the future. I was thinking of an example for this, and have you ever decided to save some money and clean your carpets yourself? And you use too much soap because you thought it would get cleaner, only to find out that the soap left in the carpet actually attracts more dirt faster, and your carpet ends up actually far dirtier than when you started. It's kind of like that. This is exactly what happens when you try to use chemicals to clean your DPF, especially if you use these chemicals when your DPF is still in your truck. So yes, Pittsburgh Power can definitely extend the life of a new or clean DPF, but Pittsburgh Power cannot. Pittsburgh Power or anything, doesn't matter what it is. I mean, Clean Air Fleet, same thing. Nothing can, if your DPF is full, no matter how much additive of any type you put in the system, it will not clean it. The only option is to clean the DPF or replace it. And it's also, just as a note, it's important to remember that while Pittsburgh Power does what it claims to do and will give your engine more pep, sort of like pouring Red Bull into your tank. Don't do that, by the way, but energy drink for your truck, sort of. There are other things your fuel system really wants and needs beyond just a fuel burning catalyst like Pittsburgh Power. For example, if you're in a cold environment, or if you fill up in a warm spot where the diesel is not winterized, you need to go north, you need to use an anti-gel. You need to have some sort of lubricity, some sort of added lubrication in the fuel. You want to have something that can dissolve the carbon buildup, the asphaltene buildup in your fuel system. You want something that's going to kick the water out of your fuel, so you're burning only fuel, not fuel and water, and the water doesn't burn. It just interferes with the burn of the fuel. This is why we highly recommend Clean Air Fleet. Shameless plug number 2. Clean Air Fleet not only gives you the clean, low soot fuel burn you are asking for and looking for, it takes care of all the other needs of your fuel system. So, want to know more about the Clean Air Fleet additive? You know what to do. Text or call us at 404-999-1361 to learn more about Clean Air Fleet and to say hello. Again, that is 404-999-1361. Text or call. We are here for you. All right. We're rocking through these right now. So number 7. This is a good one. Are you getting paid by Clean Air Fleet? Hold on a second. Let me have a sip of soup before I answer this one. Yum. So I have to say, kind of laughing at that, but not directly. So yes, we make money. We get paid by Clean Air Fleet technically when we sell Clean Air Fleet. And we give you a 10% discount on your first 4-gallon case order, but we're not a paid sponsor. I actually just like these guys, and I'm promoting it, because obviously it'd be nice to sell it, but I don't really care. In fact, I often tell people to just find the nearest source of Clean Air Fleet if they're not close to Atlanta, to save them money on shipping. Clean Air Fleet's actually based out of Wisconsin, and tell people if they ever go north, you want to swing in and see those guys, you can buy it from them as well. I really don't care where you get Clean Air Fleet. I just want you to use it. And when you do, I am confident you'll understand why I am so excited by this product. So just give Clean Air Fleet the Pepsi challenge and see if it's worth all it's cracked up to be. And guess what? If you want to learn more about Clean Air Fleet or anything else, just text or call us at 404-999-1361. Text or call DPF guys, 404-999-1361. Feels like I might have said that once or twice before. All right. What's number 8? Oh my God. Another Platinum DEF question. I got a bunch of them this week. So you can always rewind back to question number 2 if you want to learn more. And so yes, Platinum DEF does contain surfactants in the form of a tiny amount, probably 2 or 3 drops of surfactant or soap per 2.5-gallon jug. But that is just to change how the DEF crystallizes when it's spilled on a surface like the top of your DEF tank or your fairing or the ground. My somewhat scientific experiments indicate 0 difference on how the DEF builds up or crystallizes once it's sprayed into the system at running temperatures. So even though there is indeed something a bit soapy in the Platinum DEF, it is literally about a drop per gallon and nowhere near what it would take to clean anything. So with all due respect to the manufacturer of Platinum DEF, the only thing Platinum DEF cleans out is the money from your wallet. I would recommend saving $6 per jug for the Platinum DEF and get the cheap but fresh stuff. Use the $6 you save to buy a cup of chili and a Frosty at Wendy's instead. I do love the Wendy's chili. And guess what I'm going to say next? If you have any other DEF questions, leave me a comment anywhere or text or call me at 404-999-1361. Text or call 404-999-1361, and we will do our best to help you out. Okay. Question number 9. Let's see here. Oh, where's number 9? Oh, goodness gracious. All right. So for some reason, I didn't put number 9 into the system, but I do have it in front of me. From Ken Wright, 3013 from TikTok. What diesel additives are the worst? What are the ones I do not want to use? Okay, so some of this might be just opinion and based on kind of some of the research I've done, but I do need to be careful to not get sued, so I'm going to use the word allegedly a lot in this answer. So let's go through the allegedly worst the three worst diesel additives, allegedly. And they are Howe's Diesel Treatment, Lucas Anti-Gel Additive, and Standardine Performance Formula, allegedly. All three of these were given very poor ratings after testing, and all three of these additives made claims about adding lubricity to the diesel fuel, which replaced the lubricity lost when burning ULS or ultra low sulfur diesel. Independent testing showed that these three particular additives failed to add any lubricity, even though they claimed to, and it has been recommended to avoid these additives and use additives like Clean Air Fleet for lubricity. And Clean Air Fleet passed all of the lubricity tests, by the way. However, keep in mind that the reason these particular additives are listed as do not use is strictly that they do not live up to their claims of adding lubricity to the and preventing engine damage. None of these additives will damage your engine. None of them will damage your engine, but they can give you a false sense of security because they do not work as described, allegedly. So if you want to learn more about Clean Air Fleet, which is one of the additives that we do recommend, and we sell it because we recommend it, we don't recommend it because we sell it. If you want to learn more about Clean Air Fleet, give us a text or call at 404-999-1361 or leave a comment. Text or call 404-999-1361. Okay, let's go on to question number 10. And this goes back to a video I did where a guy came in from with a Mac, and he had been to a bunch of different shops, and I looked at his truck and immediately saw that he had a hairline crack in his bellows pipe. And that was where I was having this trouble from, and we got it resolved. So the comment is, it's messed up how a simple pipe with a simple crack will put you in Derate. And you are telling me, brother. And what it's all about is getting heat to where it needs to go. And this is one reason why diesel emissions components are insulated, which keeps as much heat inside them as possible where it belongs. Also reduces the chance of burns and starting fires and things like that. But the system is very heat dependent, and if you're letting heat escape, it's not going to work like it should work. So even a small exhaust leak can reduce exhaust temps downstream enough to prevent a regen from completing successfully. As the example of my story with the gentleman with the Mac, I've seen hairline cracks that would appear to be too small to matter cause all sorts of problems. So before you spend a lot of time and money repairing emissions issues, check the easy and cheap or free stuff first. Make sure you don't have any exhaust leaks. Look and listen for exhaust leaks. Look for black soot on pipes or around gaskets or in any pipe with the bellows, especially because bellows will have a tendency to crack over time. Listen for any hissing sound of escaping exhaust. And because just a few difference in exhaust temps can sometimes prevent a truck from regenerating properly. And guess what? If you have any questions about your truck and your exhaust leaks or dealing with any sort of problems that seem to be just tricky to resolve, give us a call or text at 404-999-1361. Call or text 404-999-1361. We prefer text. I prefer text because then you don't have to worry about catching me in the middle of something and making me crabby. Then I can get back to you ASAP. So let me quick check again, see if any of the questions came in. They did not, which is cool. I tell you what, I enjoyed doing this for you. I look forward to coming back next week. But there you have it, your questions, my answers. Thank you, anybody and everybody who joined us. Please leave your questions and comments below or text your questions directly to us at 404-999-1361. Again, text or call us at 404-999-1361. And if all goes as planned, I'll be back here next week to answer more of your questions. So please send them in as we go. And remember, please subscribe to the DPF Guys YouTube channel. Like our Facebook page. Find us on TikTok while TikTok is still there. And thanks for watching. And I will see you next week.
haze, just clear skies ahead. With DPF guys, your exhaust game's on tread. We got the tools, the skills, the might to get your truck rolling clean into the night. Throttle up, feel that clean airflow. Our service so slick, your ride seals the show. DPF guys, we got the fifth so fine. Hit the road with confidence, now the world's your shrine. Bring in that rig, let's get on track. Breathe easy with no sooty black.